enough to outdo a man, that's what you do.
What's going on, friends? Logan Myers here for Cinephellas.com. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing the new independent film, Clark Duke's directorial debut, Arkansas, or Arkansas. Ooh. So I'm a huge fan of Clark Duke. I've been following his career for over, 10, 15 years now. He was in Kick-Ass, Sex Drive, he was in The Office, he was in the show with Michael Cera, Clark and Michael. So he's been doing a lot of comedy TV shows and films over the years. Oh yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine as well. How can I forget that?
Hey!
Oh, hey!
Mom? How'd you find the Ginobili? You motherfucker!
One of the greatest films ever made that goes back to the 80s. And one of the movies I really need to get around to reviewing. The first one, not the second one. So a huge fan of Clark Duke, so I've been rooting for this guy for a long time. I was excited to hear he was directing his directorial debut, Arkansas. He's from Arkansas, which I just learned. I did not know that. Set up, we have Kyle, played by Liam Hemsworth, and then Swin, played by Clark Duke himself. They're drug runners for this big drug Kingpin named Frog. It's a big empire down south in Arkansas, and it's 5 chapters in this film, each telling a different part of the story, some leading back to the drug Kingpin back in the 80s, how he started up in the business and got to where he was at. So it's a really great setup. I'm a huge fan of like crime dramas and things like that, TV and movies. So this really had me interested, especially with the stacked lineup in this film. A lot of great actors, like I was saying, Liam Hemsworth, Clark Duke. We have Vivica A. Fox, we have John Malkovich, we have Vince Vaughn, and then we have Eden Brolin, which is Josh Brolin's daughter. So really a lot of great actors across the board, all different characters. So the introduction to these 2 drug runners, you had the more serious and calm person being Kyle, played by Liam Hemsworth. A huge fan of his. He gets a lot of shit, being a Hemsworth, not as good of an actor as his brother Chris. But he takes on different roles. I thought he was really fantastic in this movie. And then we have Swin, played by Clark Duke, which is kind of the complete opposite of more, laid back and goofy and more comedic and not as serious as Kyle, but they really work together in this film, and hopefully they'll do more movies together in the future. Eden Brolin's character, she's Clark Duke's girlfriend. They meet up at this grocery store. She becomes part of the group working for this guy named Frog, that's the drug kingpin, but they don't know who he is until later in the film. But her character's set up nicely. Her and Clark Duke have a nice little relationship. And we have John Malkovich's character, and we're introduced to Vivica A. Fox's character, and then eventually Vince Vaughn's character later in the film. But they're all criminals, and they're all really not good at their jobs. Things don't turn out as planned in the film. So it sets up some really sketchy situations. There's a lot of brutal scenes in this film that I was very surprised by. I thought it was going to be more of a lighter-hearted film, even though it's a crime drama. But we're introduced to Vince Vaughn's character playing Frog, the drug kingpin. He's been doing this. He's been in the business for a long time, since like the 80s. And we get a little bit of a backstory with him, finding out how he got into the game, and it really covers it all up. He hides it nicely with the story he has, and I love his attire in this film. He looks like he's in a country western band. He's got the shirt on, and really great in this film. He's really killing it lately. A lot of great independent films. He's playing more serious, dramatic roles, which I didn't think he could do, but he's definitely pulling it off lately. And this is a key example of that. He really does a great job of this character being this kingpin and seeing where he started and where he's at now. With that being said, Kyle and Swin are on this ride, coming across different people. Things don't turn out as planned, setting up a lot of sketchy situations, and unintentionally really becoming the new bad boys in town. They're just trying to get the job done and realizing that they're creating all this tension and bad things with, the mafia and all this drug empire and things like that with Vince Vaughn's characters. And I love how Vince Vaughn is reacting to what's going on with Kyle and Swin. And I thought it was just really great, because that really defines everybody in this movie. They're all babbling idiots in different ways. They're not really good at their jobs, but somehow things work out. And the overall environment and the atmosphere that Clark Duke is building had a really awesome feel to it. It felt much like a true detective, like dark and gloomy, grimy down south. And having family from Arkansas, I've been down there many times when I was a kid. Very hot and humid, very disgusting in the summer, sweating all the time. A lot of different characters down there. And I thought Clark Duke did a really great job of creating these characters, this atmosphere of Arkansas, for people that really don't, if they've never been there, wouldn't understand. So I thought he really painted a really dark and gloomy picture and atmosphere of Arkansas. And throughout the 5 different chapters, I think the overall story, the build-up, and the climax of the story and the payoff is really well done. I was actually surprised by how everything works out for these characters or doesn't work out for these characters. But overall, Arkansas was a movie I was really highly anticipating. I was seeing an early trailer that was released about this film, being Clark Duke's directorial debut. I think this guy really knocked it out of the park and is a guy that I'm going to continue to watch. I've been watching for 10, 15 years. Now he's in the director's chair. I'm really interested to see what he does in the future. He really crafted a beautiful and scary and unsettling part of Arkansas, dealing with organized crime and drugs and the mafia. What happens to normal working class people that are, trying to make a living, and the circumstances and events that they come across in their lives and how they get out of that and how they survive. So I thought it was a really interesting take on a crime drama and introducing these characters, really showing Vince Vaughn's, acting chops playing Frog, this Kingpin. I thought he was really great in his flashback scene back in the 80s to where he's at now. Kind of a quieter, more calm man, an older man now, and finding out about these kids that are drug runners. I thought Clark Duke and Liam Hemsworth had great chemistry in this film. I really wanted to see them working together again. So overall, I'm going to give Clark Duke's directorial debut, Arkansas, a 4 out of 5 John Malkovich hair pieces. So if you guys did check out Arkansas, what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What did you guys think of that ending? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Meyer signing out. My mates up here, Clark Duke and Liam Hemsworth. Ooh, they're dreamy. Until the next quarantine video review. Cheers!